Hi, Facebook. Happy Monday evening, afternoon, depending what time zone you're in, or maybe even night. We're going about to do a 60-minute yoga flow. This is just kind of a full body, all levels. Definitely going to be a little bit of a workout. We're going to focus a bit on the legs and strengthening the legs in this class today, in addition to doing lots of good stretches and waking up and loosening up the entire body. I'll be using a Tada rug back there. It's a oversized, awesome yoga mat. If you decide to get one, you can get 10% off with the code Phoebe. Put on your favorite music playlist so you can enjoy music as you do this yoga flow. Have a glass of water nearby in case you need a drink. And know that everything I do is an option. It's not a necessity. This is your practice. Feel free to step things up, make it more intense for yourself, or feel free to calm things down and make things a little bit slower and more restorative for yourself tonight. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so it's time. Let's go ahead and get started. You're going to come onto your mat, and we're actually going to start standing today. Usually when I say that in a studio class, I get a lot of like, what, standing? So you'll just have to type that if you want to. All right, standing at the front of your mat, palms come forward, chest is open. I want you to just bring awareness to your breath. Maybe the breath has been shallow today, stressed or anxious. Maybe you spent a lot of the day napping and it's been a quite restful breath. Just notice. Take a giant breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top. Mouth open. Exhale. Then start to rock forward and back on your feet lightly, shifting from heels into the balls of your feet until you find the place where you're centered equally between both. Spread your toes wide. Press down into your legs. Press down into your feet to grow taller. Draw your ribs in. Lift your heart. Drop your shoulders. Lift the roof of your mouth. Drop your tailbone. And lift through the crown of your head. There's so much to think about in mountain pose. Adding on, think of squeezing inner thighs together and moving ankles apart. You should feel a lot more strength and stability in your legs when you do that. Holding all of this awareness for your physical body, the strength, take another breath in through your nose. Hold it again. Mouth open, let it go. Grow a little bit taller. We'll do one more big breath. Inhale through your nose, deepest breath yet. Hold. Invite in another sip. Mouth open, let it go. Inhale, arms go high to the sky. Gaze up towards your thumbs. Exhale, bend your knees, sink into your heels. Chair pose right away. Happy Monday. Hips sink down and back. If your shoulders aren't loving this, feel free to bring them to cactus arms. I am in Tucson after all. Weight comes more into your heels for this. Legs squeeze together, ankles press apart without moving, and then lengthen your spine. Can you sink the hips a bit lower? It's okay if your chest falls downward as you do that. Feel a length, an increase between the roof of your mouth and your tailbone. Make sure your big toes are visible. If not, the knees need to move backwards a bit, more weight coming into heels. 3 more breaths. 2 more. 1 more inhale. Exhale, legs straighten, fold forward. Tiptoe your feet hip distance apart, clasp opposite elbows, and gently swing your torso side to side. Release your hands down to the ground and bend and straighten one leg at a time. It's okay if your leg doesn't totally straighten. Just keep your hands on the ground and move your legs however that allows. Just tiptoe your feet a little bit wider and turn your toes out, your heels in, bend your knees, bring your forearms up to your thighs, and use your arms to help push your knees open as you sink your hips low and lift your chest. Knees point right over middle toes. If the knees aren't pointing over those middle toes, try adjusting the feet to help make that happen. Okay, bend the knees enough that you can bring your hands under your shoulders, straighten your legs, forward fold as much as possible, and then inhale, bend again, lift the heart. So moving through a squat and a forward fold, but this is a big, wide squat. Inhale, the heart lift, shoulders melt down. Exhale, press the heels into the floor to straighten the legs. Inhale and exhale, sinking the breath. The next time your legs are straight or almost straight, keep them there and turn the toes inward so they are parallel. Walk both hands over to the right leg. Now, if it feels really far away, bring your legs closer together. We're going to forward fold over the right leg, turning your belly even to face that right thigh. If it feels good, grab your right ankle and add on if you'd like by reaching the right hand towards the sky. Still reaching belly towards the thigh. Drop the right hand back down if you lifted it. And everyone bring your right fingertips in front of your right toes. The left hand can still be holding the ankle. And walk your right fingertips away from you and walk them to your left, like behind your head, and start to twist open a little bit, turning your belly more towards the sky now. And really draw that right hip back. Good. Release back down, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, hands under shoulders, chest lifts. Exhale, fold. Walk your hands over to the left, maybe grabbing onto shin or to your ankle. Turn your belly towards your left leg. And again, add on if you want by reaching the left hand up towards the sky, but keeping the forward fold. Press the right foot actively into the ground, both legs working. Left hand drops if lifted. Bring left fingers in front of left toes, and then walk that left hand away from you, and then behind you, over the crown of your head, and twist your belly towards the left, turning towards the ceiling. Release down, forward fold. Okay, plant your hands, step your feet hip distance, and step back to a tabletop position. Spread fingers wide, few cats and cows. Inhale, lift heart and tailbone. Exhale, really round. Press the heels of the hands down. Same time, pressing the fingertips down and the knuckles of your fingers down. Without moving your arms, think of the wrists moving outward. So isometric engagements mean we don't actually move, but we engage like we're trying to. And we use a lot of those in yoga. Sit back onto your heels, lift your chest up, bring your hands to your right, and sweep your left arm across your chest, lifting your heart up. Come back to center, sitting on your shins. Sweep the left hand behind you, set it down. Right arm goes across your chest and lifts up towards the sky. And return back to a seated position on your shins. Get your heels parallel. Often they like to stick out to the sides. And bring your hands on top of your thighs. Inhale to lift the chest, look up. Exhale to really round. You can even pull on your thighs a bit to increase that rounding. Return to center. Palms up, arms straight. Turn your fingers outward so your fingers are going to face more towards the floor. And then shift forward and come to tabletop. If your fingers don't point completely to your knees, that's okay. Turn them a little bit more to the sides. And then take a few cats and cows like this, warming up wrists and stretching forearms. Really press the fingertips down here. Turn the fingers forward again, one at a time. Keep your hips above your knees. Puppy pose. Walk your hands forward. Lower your chest towards the ground, and either your forehead or your chin will rest on the floor. Press your arms down into the ground. Without moving them, think of widening your biceps out to the sides. Tailbone lifts. Heart melts. 3 more breaths. 2. And 1. Engage your core to walk your hands back into that tabletop position. Good. And we're going to take the right leg back, lift it up, flex the foot, point the toes and the knee towards the ground. You're welcome to stay just like this, or you can bend that right foot up, reach the left hand up and back, grab the top of the foot. Feel free to make it more of a quad stretch by bringing the heel to the hip, but not back bending. Or a little bit of both. You can kick the right leg up, start to find a slight back bend, and a slight quad stretch. If you feel any discomfort in your lower back, pull your abs in, puffing your lower back up a little bit more. Chest reaches forward. Slowly release, back to tabletop. Left leg extends back behind you. Flex the foot, lifting the leg as high as the hip. No need to go higher yet. Again, this is a great place to stay, working on strength and stability. Or you can add on by bending that lifted foot, reaching the right hand up and back, so opposite arm to foot. Start by kicking heel to butt cheek, long spine, or begin to kick the left leg up towards the sky, lifting your heart. You can find a slight bend in the spine unless you feel discomfort in the lower back, and then really pull the abs up and puff the lower back up. Release, tabletop pose. Take a cat and a cow. Step your right foot between your thumbs and lift your hands up to your right thigh. Squeeze your legs together, soften your toes, and now really tuck your tailbone. See if you can level your hips. Often the right hip likes to really stick up. See if you can drop it down and really tuck the tailbone. We're exaggerating that, pulling the belly in, and then at the same time, push your left knee down and backwards. Actually, I'm sorry, don't push it backwards, push it down and forwards. Tuck the tailbone, hollow the belly, push your front heel down, and it's gonna draw towards you. So back knee goes forward, front heel goes backward, shoulders stay soft for 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and release your hands to the ground. Walk your front foot a bit further forward and sink your hips towards the floor. Bring your left hand down and bring your right hand to your right knee. Take some circles with your right knee, letting the hips go up and down, just kind of melting into the hip joint. If this feels weird on the knee, don't do it. That goes to say with everything. If it feels weird, don't do it. Okay, come back to stillness, knee right over your ankle, hand onto your right knee, push into it and twist your torso towards the right front leg. Stay there or reach the left hand all the way up and back. Bend your back foot, maybe grab onto it, maybe draw the heel towards the hip. Now, if you don't feel enough sensation, you can play with that little tuck of the tailbone we just did in that other version. You can also play with that knee squeezing forward and the front heel squeezing back. Good. Release your back foot. Plant your hands inside the right foot and stay on palms or lower down to your forearms, your choice. Hug the right knee towards your right shoulder. Flex your back foot, the left foot, and lift the left knee off the ground. Now move your knees in 2 opposite directions. The front knee kicking forward, the back knee kicking back. The back leg is strong. You're lengthening the back of that kneecap. You're bending deep into your front knee, and then your hips are lifting slightly, and you're trying to melt your heart lower than your hips, holding strength in your legs for 3, 2, 1. Drop the back knee back down. Plant your hands. Step back to tabletop pose. We'll do the other side in a moment. Flex your feet. Downward dog. Lift the hips up and back. Take a few breaths here. Arms and legs pushing apart. Shoulders melting away from ears. Heels reaching towards the ground. It's okay if they don't touch. We're looking for a long, flat back here. So if it feels like you're really rounding your back, try bending your knees and see if that can help lengthen your spine. All right, look forward, bend your knees, hover them above the floor like 2 inches, and press back to downward dog. Inhale to hover, look forward, heart forward, exhale back. Inhale, hover, elbows squeeze inward, exhale back. One more. This time shift forward, drop all the way down, knees to the ground. Step left foot between thumbs. So it's going to feel like more narrow of a lunge. That's good. That's what we want. Hands come to the front knee. Press into that front knee, dropping the left hip down now. And then really exaggerating the tuck at the tailbone and squeezing your legs in towards one another. So it should feel exhausting. Your legs are activating. You're working to hold this. And at the same time, you should feel a little bit of a stretch in that right thigh, in the front of that thigh. Good. For 5, 4, 3, activate those legs. 2, tuck the tailbone. 1, release the hands down to the ground. Walk your front foot further forward. Bend the front knee deeply. Now your hips are going to melt towards the floor. Left hand comes to the left knee. That's the front knee. Right hand plants down. The fingers can turn outward slightly. Then take some circles with the left knee. Letting your hips go up and down. Support the body. Find stillness. Push into the left hand and twist your torso towards the front inner thigh. That bottom shoulder, the right shoulder, or the hand on the ground, roll it open. Stay there or bend the back knee, reach the left hand back, find the foot, and draw the foot towards you. Now, if you can't reach the foot, just leave the foot down. No in-betweensies. Either the hand to the foot or the foot stays on the floor. Good. Release the back foot. We're going to step back to tabletop position. Tuck your toes and find downward facing dog. Shift forward, hover the knees. Exhale back to down dog. You know it. Here we go. A few more times. Heart reaches forward, fingertips press down. Exhale to hold in down dog. Right leg lifts high to the sky, kind of like tabletop. Flex the foot, kick the heel away. Lift the leg high, but keep the knee pointing downward. Good, one more breath. Look forward, step right foot between your thumbs. Rise to fingertips. Check that your front knee is over your ankle. Check where your back leg is. Get the heel over the ball of your foot. And then rise up to a high lunge. So hands could be on hips for support. You could always drop the back knee to make this a low lunge. Now bend your back knee and go ahead and tuck your tailbone a little bit. And then arch it and tuck it and arch it. Now find a neutral where it feels like your pelvis is under your chest and your spine is in one long straight line. There's no twerking happening, and there's no dog tucking tail between legs happening. And maybe your knee needs to stay bent for that to happen, but you can play with re-straightening it while maintaining that new alignment that you found. Awesome. Big breath in. Big step forward, not yogi squat, chair pose, the front of your mat, feet come together, legs together. Hands to heart. Feel free to stay and stabilize or twist to your right. Left elbow hooking outside right knee. Lift the torso away from the thighs. Stretch the hips back. Reach the heart forward. Exhale, twist you a little bit deeper. Inhale, stand up, hands go high, big breath in, maybe a baby back bend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Lift the heart. Bend your knees, plant your palms, look forward, step back, tabletop. Good. Inhale to cow pose, heart lifts. And exhale to cat pose, back rounds. Stay in cat pose, engage the lower abdominals. Flex your feet, tuck the toes under, and let the belly lift the knees to a hover and push to downward dog. Step your feet a bit closer together, lift the left leg. Knee and toes point downward, push your arms away from you. Feel the arms and the legs moving away from one another. Lift the lifted leg a bit higher. Really kick through the heel. Look forward, step through. Fingertips, find your footing. As you're ready, hands go up. You could always keep them down. I just realized we forgot to do lizard on the other side. We're going to come back to that. I may have forgotten, but we won't skip it. I think somebody like psychically told me over the ether. Okay, back knee bent slightly. Find that neutral spine, dropping the left hip, deep, well not deep, but minor bend in the back knee. And then maybe the back leg can straighten, maintaining that long spine. Big step forward, chair pose, front of your mat, feet together. Hands go to your heart, twist to the left, right elbow hooks. Good, sink through the hips, move the knees back. Inhale, stand up, reach up, maybe a baby back bend. Keep the hips above the heels, they don't press forward. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Stay here, step your right leg way back behind you. Drop the right knee down and bring your left hand inside your left foot. Okay, stay on palms or lower down to your forearms. And then tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee up. Great. Hug your left knee in towards your left armpit and reach your heart forward through your chest. Lift your hips up slightly by pushing the feet into the ground and then lower the heart. Can the back knee get a little bit straighter? Can the back heel kick a little bit further away? Can the front knee bend a little bit deeper? Good for 3, breathing, 2, and 1. Rise back up to palms. Frame your front foot with your hands. Look forward. We're going to step switch or jump switch. Here we go. All right, again, jump or step. And again. Breathe again. Keep going. And stay there. Step back, downward dog. Big breath in and out. Rise to tiptoes, look forward, walk or hop, feet to the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, rise up, chair pose. Hands will come to your heart or to cactus arms. Shift the weight into your left foot here. And reach your right leg back like you're coming into a warrior 3 or a hover, but the front knee is going to stay bent deeply. Weight goes into that front heel. Then tap your back toes down, but don't bring any weight into them. It's like you're going to go into a high lunge, but the back leg is still weightless. And then step forward, chair pose. I want you to feel this in your glutes, the back of your thighs, and really push that heel down that you're standing on. Shift the weight into your right foot. Heart lifts. Extend the left leg back, hovering. Feel free to use wall support for balance. And then tap the left toes down, keeping the front knee stable right over the ankle. And slowly step back to chair pose. Slow is good. Slow is good. Shift the weight back into the left. Deep bend into the front knee. Right leg goes back, tap it down. And slow return to chair pose. Shift to the right. Start to breathe more now. Inhale, extend back. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale. Exhale. Never bringing weight into that back foot. Inhale. Exhale. One more time each side. Last time. Inhale, stand up, reach the hands high. And exhale, they come along your sides. Good. Step your feet apart, hip distance. Grab your hips and pretend like you're doing the hula. Like using a hula hoop is what I meant. Go one way and then switch directions. It's a really big hula hoop. Feet are staying flat. Okay, step your feet together, mountain pose. Hands rise up, breathe in. Flat back to fold. Inhale halfway, shoulders back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Top of a push-up. Push with your toes to reach your heart forward. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Hug your elbows towards one another. Kick back through your heels. Feel free to drop your knees. Good. For 3, widen your shoulder blades. 2, and 1. Drop your knees to the ground. Drop your chest to the ground and slide through onto your belly. Stretch your legs back. Walk your hands out to the side slightly. Look forward. Shoulders go down. Inhale to lift the head, lift the shoulders, lift the chest. Press the pubic bone into the floor. As your heart reaches forward, stretch your legs back. It's okay if they need to widen. Exhale, lower down. Get longer in your spine as you lower. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Shoulders drop down like you're hugging the armpits towards your pelvis. Exhale, lower. Last time, inhale. Feel free to stay or walk your hands right underneath your shoulders and lift up to upward facing dog. Inner thighs rolling towards the sky, shins squeezing in towards one another, chest broad. Exhale, downward dog. However you'd like to get there, maybe through plank or tabletop. All right, right leg lifts up, breathe in. Step right foot between thumbs, come to fingertips. Look forward, reach the heart forward. Push into your front heel and launch off standing splits. Forward folding over your front leg, the back leg lifts up high. Step back to that runner's lunge. Inhale. Exhale, heel down to lift up. Standing splits. Keep going. Inhale to lower the back leg. Exhale to kick off. Let the breath start the movement and the body follows. This time we're going to stay in standing splits. You might walk your hands a little bit further forward for more balance support. Feel free to bring your right hand to your right ankle. Slowly step back to that runner's lunge. Spin your back heel down. We'll move to warrior two. Arms are going to windmill up and open. Deep bend into your front knee. Arms arrive in a T-like shape. Feel free to stay like this or push into the ball of your front foot and lift up your front heel, giving yourself a little bit of calf strengthening. We don't often get too much of that in yoga. Release the heel down. If it's up, inhale, straighten both legs. We're going to walk the back foot slightly closer, not too much. And then bend your front knee again. Bring your back hand to your back hip. Bring your right hand to the floor about 6 inches in front of the foot and then to the right about 6 inches. Look down. Keep a deep bend in your front knee and launch into half moon. So start by keeping the left toes on the ground without weight. And then as you feel ready, lift the left leg up as high as your left hip, keeping the right knee bent. And then as you feel ready, maybe straighten the right leg. Maybe lift the left hand towards the sky. Maybe start to turn your chest towards the sky. Take up as much space as you can, breathing, stretching, reaching. Warrior two, step back slowly. Straighten your front leg. We'll find triangle pose now. Hips move back as you drop the right hand down. I'm glad we did this pose. I am now able to see that this tree is blooming. Inhale, rise all the way back up. You're going to step onto your front leg. That's the right leg. You're going to turn to face forward and launch off the back foot and come into warrior three. So warrior three should kind of look like a capital letter T. It's okay to bend the right leg. It's okay to have your hands on the floor or by your sides. The heart reaches forward. And I want you to puff up the lower back a little bit. So the lower belly is really pulling up and in. Lower back is puffing up. And you're dropping that left hip down. That's the hip of the lifted leg. So it's the same height as your right hip. Now you can hold, or we're going to take 5 pulses. Bend the right knee and straighten. 4, 3, 2, last one. Step forward, mountain pose. Woo, notice how your right leg is feeling. Okay, hands reach up, big breath in. Exhale, long spine, fold it forward. Inhale, halfway. Bend knees, plant palms. We'll step back to plank pose. Feel free to drop your knees. We're holding for 10 counts. Inner thighs squeeze together. Heart reaches forward. Back of the neck is long. 5 more. Downward dog. Hips lift. Press up and back. Look forward. Step your left foot between your thumbs. Rise to fingertips. Here we go. Standing splits. Fingers walk in front to launch off. Back leg lifts towards the sky. Back knee points down. Back toes point down. You can point or flex through that foot, your choice. Step back. Runner's lunge. Fingertips. Chest lifted. Exhale, standing splits. And then your choice of pace, moving through this. Soft toes, softer shoulders. This time we'll stay in standing splits. You can walk the hands further away as feels comfortable. Option to bring the left hand to the left ankle to add a balance challenge as you forward fold over that left leg. Release both hands to the ground. Step the right leg back, come under your toes, spin the back heel down, warrior two. No rush to get up. Right. How are you feeling? We've been working it. So it's okay. I might not cue a child's pose, but you can take it anytime you need. Warrior two. Breathing. Lifting up that front heel if you did it on the last round. And dropping the front heel, walk your back foot slightly closer and bend back into your front knee. Right hand comes to right hip, left hand comes to the ground, preparing for half moon. Look forward, big launch off. Again, you can keep that left knee bent. You can stay gazing downward. You could reach your right hand up. You could totally lean against a wall or ask someone to stand behind you as you do this so you can lean against them. Good. Take up space, stretch, even with your breath, stretch it open. Bring your fingers down. Warrior two, we'll step back slowly. Straighten the front leg. Triangle pose, hips move back. Drop the left hand down. Reach the right hand high. Inhale, rise back up. Grab onto your hips. Turn to face forward, lifting your back heel up, and then launching off onto that left leg into our warrior three. Press the left heel down to transition. It's okay to bend that left leg, especially if that means that you'll be able to drop the right hip level to the left. Puff up the lower back, but reach the heart forward. Lengthen the back leg back like someone's pulling that ankle, and then reach the roof of your mouth in the opposite direction. Good. You're welcome to hold and work on balance and stabilizing, or add those 5 pulses in. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, breathe, 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 2, and 1. Mountain pose, step forward, hands to heart. Deep breath in and out. Hands go high to the sky, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend knees, plant palms, step or hop to that plank pose. This is our third and final plank pose hold. Knees down or up. 10, 9. Armpits towards hips. Inner thigh squeeze in. Good. Drop your knees down. Lower your chest and down to your belly. Walk your hands back so your wrists are underneath your elbows. Stretch your legs back. Press your pubic bone down into the floor, puffing up your lower back slightly. Look forward. Roll the shoulders back. Squeeze the elbows in. Inhale, lift up head, shoulders, ribs. Legs are long behind you. Without moving your hands, think of pressing or sliding them towards the tops of your feet. So it should feel like you're trying to slide your legs forward through your palms. Keep the neck long, especially the back of it. Release down. Press back child's pose. Hips go to heels, forehead on the ground, nose is lifted off. If it feels nice, rock side to side across your forehead, massaging out any lines of worry or concern. Stay there as long as you need, or join us in downward facing dog. Okay, look forward, walk or hop, feet to hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. And tuck your tailbone, slowly roll to standing. You're going to take one standing balance here. I mean, you already did warrior three, stand to half moon, so you've been balancing quite a lot. So take this one as easy as you'd like. You're going to bring the weight onto your left foot, maybe hold the wall with your left hand, or you can grab onto your left hip. Your right hand is going to reach back and grab the top of your right foot. You're going to squeeze inner thighs together and point your right knee straight down to the floor and squeeze your heel towards your hip. Now see if you can lift the pubic bone slightly, toning the lower abdomen, feeling the tailbone get heavy as the crown of the head lifts, as the roof of the mouth lifts. At the same time, trying to have your knees side by side and maintaining all of that. Should feel a stretch in the front of your right thigh. This would be a great place to stay. You could even grab that back foot with both hands. It's a gentle chest opener as well. If you want to add on a little bit, then you're going to flip the right hand so your thumb is up, like a thumbs up, and the palm faces outward. You'll reach your left hand forward and start to kick the right leg up and back as you reach the left hand forward. Breathe to steady yourself. Try to create space between your chest and your knee. Slowly return back to center. Okay, we'll do the other side. Stand onto your right foot. Right hand to the wall or to your hip. Left hand to the left foot. Inner thighs squeeze together. And see if you can bring your knees side by side without twerking. So if you can find that neutral pelvis with kind of the toned abdomen and the slightly puffed lower back, and then maybe move your knees towards one another. Make sure the weight is centered on your right foot. Option to reach both hands back. Squeeze your glutes as if you're squeezing in side to side rather than a tuck under squeeze. You could stay right here or flip the left hand, reach the right arm forward, and using your breath to steady yourself, slowly begin to kick the left leg back. One side might feel different than the other. How far you go does not matter. Keep it easy and pain-free. And slowly return to mountain pose. Hands go high to the sky. Flat back, fold forward. Good. Separate your feet hip distance apart. Grab opposite elbows. If it feels good to your body, gently rock forward and back. Cross the heels to the balls of your feet. And release your hands down to the ground. Bend your knees so you can put your ribs on the fronts of your thighs. And slide your hands, palms face up underneath your feet. Now, everyone can do this because everyone can put on their shoes, right? I mean, if you can put on your shoes, you can do this. And I'm making a broad assumption that if you're watching this, you can put on your shoes. So palms face up, the toes are in the wrist joint. If you're wearing a hair tie or wristwatch, your toes would be touching that. You still got a deep bend in your knees so that your ribs are on your thighs. I mean, you might be like in a crouch. It's okay if your knees are really bent. Without moving the torso, slide your hands without moving them, slide them like they're pieces of paper, and you're trying to slide them out from underneath your feet. And then if it feels good, press the legs a little bit straighter, keeping the ribs on the thighs, letting the elbows point out to the sides, and drawing the shoulders away from your ears. Head is relaxed, it hangs heavy, back of the neck is long. Slowly bend the knees again, gently, and slide your hands out from underneath your feet. Have a seat on your sits bones, and roll back onto your back. Bring your arms by your sides. Bring your feet to the ground, and your knees point to the ceiling. Give a gentle tuck of the tailbone so the lower back pushes into the floor and your tailbone lifts up. And go ahead and release. Do that 2 more times. And release. Last time. This time, roll your pelvis all the way up towards the sky for a bridge pose, but keep your pubic bone lifted higher than your hip bone. So if you take a look, you want the pubic bone lifted and the hip bones are going to be slightly lower on this long diagonal line that you're creating. Broaden the collarbones, push the shoulders into the ground, push the triceps, elbows down into the floor. Without moving your feet, think of dragging them towards your chest. Start with your chest bone and gently roll down to your back. The tailbone stays lifted, the lower back pushes into the floor, and then at the last moment, the tailbone releases. I'm going to cue one more bridge pose, or you have time for one more bridge pose. If you'd like a wheel, you could also bring your hands by your ears and take that variation instead today. Whatever feels better to your body. Go ahead and gently tuck the tailbone under, push the feet firmly into the floor, lift your hips. In these back bends, you want at least 50% of the strength to be in your legs. So it should feel like the powerhouse is really coming from the lower body. Kick down into the floor with the entirety of your foot. Lift the pubic bone up towards the ceiling. Lengthen your lower back. Start with your chest and roll back down. Go ahead, draw your right knee into your chest. Grab a hold of the right shin. You can keep the left foot bent just like it was for that bridge pose. Extend the right toes up towards the ceiling and grab the back of the right thigh. Now, option here to keep the left leg bent like that or extend it out to straight, knowing you can return it to that bent position anytime you need. Begin to walk your hands up the back of your right leg. Lift your torso up like you're climbing up a ladder and literally hang from your right shin, your right calf, your right foot, whatever feels comfortable to grab onto. Draw that right hip down towards your left foot. Press your lower back towards the floor. And kick the right leg into your hands. Bend your right knee, lower your torso. With your left hand, grab your right shin. Bring your right hand off to the side. Draw your right foot across your body, but keep your right hip on the ground. So we're looking for more of an outer hip, outer thigh stretch, not a spinal twist. Keep drawing that right knee across and slightly upwards towards your face. And now let this become a spinal twist. Lift the right hip up and roll over onto the left hip. Good. You can gaze at the ceiling or gaze in either direction. As your knee drops to the left, turn your belly to the right. Make that a little bit stronger so that you roll back to your back. Center your hips, extend your left knee up to your chest. Grab a hold of the shin. Extend the left toes towards the sky. Grab the back of the thigh. An option to straighten the right leg out or keep it bent. Hand over hand, climb up the back of the left leg, grabbing on to what feels comfortable, and then really push the left hip down towards the right foot. It's going to intensify the sensation for you, and push the lower back towards the ground. Melt the shoulders away from the ears, soften your jaw. Lower your torso, bend your left knee in. Grab, so switch hands. The right hand's going to grab the shin, left hand goes off to the side, and then we're going to do that outer thigh stretch. So left hip stays on the ground. Left leg kicks across your body and up towards the sky. It's like you're trying to straighten the leg, but most likely you won't be able to. I mean, you totally might be. Right, looking for that outer thigh stretch. And then roll over into the spinal twist, coming onto your right hip. Really great to breathe deep and twist. As you breathe, try and stretch open all the muscles of your torso. Breathe into places that feel like they can't move. Make a move with your breath. Draw your belly to the left. Roll back onto your back. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees fall out to the sides. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. We're going to take a 3-part breath to close our practice today. Start by inhaling, fill up your belly, fill up your middle chest, fill up your upper chest. Hold. Exhale the upper chest only. Now the middle. Now the belly. Repeat. Inhale, lower. middle, upper. Hold. Exhale, upper, middle, lower. Inhale, lower, middle, upper. Hold. Exhale, upper, middle, and lower. I think you've got the rhythm. We'll take a few more. Breathing in. Again. And out. Last one. Take some normal breaths in and out. And find your way into Shavasana. That might look like legs up the wall, legs outstretched, or placing a pillow underneath the backs of your knees. You could keep your hands rested on your belly or let them melt out to the sides. In Shavasana, let go of breath control. Melt your body into the floor. Soften the muscles of your face. And rest here for at least 3 minutes, preferably 5. And if you've got the time, maybe even 10. So that you can rest uninterrupted. I'm going to sign off here. Thank you so much for joining me in this class. Please leave a comment after your Shavasana. Let me know how you liked it. And have a wonderful rest of your evening.